Hey guys, this is Jake again, and I'm coming to you again from my home office. So if you hear children, I apologize in advance. I've got a couple of them. But let's dig in. This is Class 3 SEO Content Strategy. So once again, I'll just let you know the reason I'm making this video is because I realized that we had so much video from so many hours of class that it would have been impossible for someone to kind of go through and find what they were looking for in those videos. So rather than having a several hour video to go through, I'm going to make this video about 30 minutes. I'm going to touch on a handful of points and anything I feel like it needs to be broken out and maybe reference standalone. I'm going to make a quick 5 to 10 minute video about that, and that will be at the bottom of this SEO page as long as you're on the website, the Reading SEO website. So let's go ahead and dig into the SEO content strategy. Again, this is class 3. We've already gone through just tons of stuff. Let me look at those super quickly. 1 second here. So class 1 was really about kind of the basics. Class 2, we went over how to do some keyword research using the Google Ads keyword research tool, jumping on Google Analytics, jumping on Google Search Console, as well as using Google Trends to try and find your keywords. Um, so having done all of that, we're really getting to pretty deep into the weeds at this point. And I shouldn't say deep into the weeds. I mean detailed enough that you guys should genuinely be developing and creating content at this point. We've made it plenty far that you guys should be comfortable doing that at this point. So that was kind of last week and the week prior's material. Um, you should again have access to the back end of your website, to your Google Analytics webmaster account, an ads account if you have one started. And quickly, let's go over the keywords. So, in talking to Todd and Megan about these keywords again, these keywords were kind of selected generally by some folks who thought that we should, utilize them to be found online. If you can use them, fine. If it makes sense to your website, fine. You don't have to though. Like the principles and ideas I'm going over in this class, you can apply to any keyword. This just happens to be the suite of keywords that was selected by the team of folks before me. And so, and the mission of this class and why I'm teaching it is that we want to have a positive impact for the Reading area and the people who live here. And the way we do that is we're found before the people who have maybe negative or disparaging things to say about our area. So like I said in class 1, we like the place we live in. It's a nice place. It's full of nice people. Let's let people know that. So as you can see here, so I went to a tool called Google Trends. Trends.google.com is the address. Go ahead and Google that, look it up, use the tool. I use it all the time. It's just a really excellent tool to use constantly to let me know which keyword is doing better than another. And in this case, I went ahead and I looked up Reading crime, crime in Reading, Reading CA crime, and Chico Reading crime. So you can see there's almost no data on this. Out of the 4 queries I made, really only 2 came back with anything. One was Reading crime, and 2 was Reading CA crime. Now you can see that Reading crime, the blue line, has a lot more searches than Reading CA crime. Why is that? Well, there's a kind of a principle I've found. Anytime you qualify a phrase, you get fewer searches. So Reading crime, simple phrase. Reading CA crime, now it's a qualified phrase. So you've qualified it by saying it has to be in California. So the more general, the more accurate data you typically get. Um, Now, as I'm going through this, do I think these are the best keywords to use to make Reading sound good? No, not necessarily. I don't. I know they were selected by the team of folks who worked on this before me. I don't think it matters much. I wouldn't go after these personally. When you hear Reading crime, I would actually go after this with something positive that would take the place of Reading crime, like, for example, activities to do in Redding, California. I'd much rather write about that than try and convince people that Reading crime doesn't exist or that Reading crime, is one thing or another. Um, Reading crime is just fine, but anyone who wants to look it up is going to look it up. Let them. That's fine. Here's another Google Trends search I did. Move to California. We can see there's actually an increase in searches of move to California. That surprises me. I wouldn't have guessed that. Move to Northern California. Again, qualified, Northern, nearly zero. So I know that I would never write a post on move to Northern California. Move to California, maybe. Make the post, move to California, and then go ahead and explain the area you're talking about in the post. But really, you're not going to capture any traffic by making a post called Move to Northern California. So that's how I use Google Trends to find out how deeply I can qualify things, how exact I can get. And it did the job there. Let me see if I can give an example. Oh, so in this case, if I was to be writing a post about Reading crime, here's what I'm trying to show you. If I'm trying to write a post on Reading crime, what would I call it? What keyword would I use? I wouldn't use Reading CA crime. I would use Reading crime. You can see that that just has far more searches, and I can get a lot more traffic on the website by doing it that way. So that's how I use Google Trends. That's why I'm sharing how to use that. The Google Ads Keyword Planner. This is another one I went over in the last class, how to use it, but this time we're actually using it to determine which keywords we should be using. So the city of Reading. So according to data from the Keyword Planner that I showed you how to use in the last class, um, Reading is well equipped for moving to Redding, California, also crime in Reading. So let me go. Sorry, I accidentally copied that when I actually want to go to that. So when you use the keyword planning tool, it totally, well, it gives you this spreadsheet and lets you know when you type in your website and the keyword you gave me, here are the keywords we think go with that. Here are the keywords we think you can rank for. Um, so you can see here average monthly searches, a house address in Redding, California. Now, does that make sense with our keyword that we want to think about or talk about? No, not really, but Google doesn't always get it right. So let's see what is right. Keyword stats. So keyword airport road, apartments for rent. Rent for sale in Reading. Let me go back to this. So moving to Reading, which is one of our keywords, that's the keyword I used in this search. So now I know home for sale in Redding, California, 2,400 monthly searches for that. That's something I would consider using. So let me do this. I'm going to freeze these. So view, freeze. That's only going to let me freeze 2 rows. So let's delete this row. Now let's go to view, freeze, 2 rows. So I just froze these 2 rows on top, and I can sort these. Oops, that's low to high. Let me go high to low. Oh, shoot. Hold on. So that's interesting. I know there's a way to do this, and I don't know how to do it, and I'm not going to do it while I'm making a video. But It's it's sorting based on the first number as if it's alphabetical instead of the number that from the high number to the low number. How upsetting. Darn it. Okay. There's a way to sort these from the high number to the low number. I I'm not gonna work on it right now. But if I want to have the greatest success, I'm gonna want to look for the biggest numbers. So house for sale in Redding, California, 3,600 monthly searches. There's something I can use. 2,400 monthly searches on home for sale in Redding, California, home for sale in Redding, California, house for rent in Redding, California. Now, it's important to note who you're going to be competing with when you go after these keywords. Now, this says low, low, medium competition. That's surprising. I would have expected it to be high. So this is your competition. That's the likelihood of you actually showing up for these searches, because you're going to be fighting against Zillow and other national housing sales websites, as well as local real estate agents who have a lot of money behind their advertising. So that's just something to consider if you're going to go after that keyword and you want to be found for this. Really pay attention to what your competition looks like and be reasonable about how you're going to show up for this, because if there is any real competition, it's going to be hard to rank for those. So there's one. Um, I can use that list of keywords to figure out what I want to write about. Oh, and what else I did, important to note, when I made this list, what I'm doing is I'm determining the best website to go after these particular keywords. All of these websites are people who are taking this class right now. Pay attention to that. City of Redding, the website, you're the best equipped to talk about moving to Redding, California based on the keywords that you're doing well on. Bethel.com, also in this class. Um, Best equipped to go after the keyword living in Redding, California. Um, Probably, and you'll notice there's some consistency here in the keywords that I'm matching and what those websites do or are used for anyways. Living in Redding, California, Bethel.com, probably with a lot of people moving to go to school here or to go to church here. That's going to have that lifestyle uh, effect in your keywords, which is going to show City of Redding, probably a little bit more of the moving to Redding, California. Visit Redding, moving to Redding, but better still, why move to Redding, California? So what I did is I found different URLs, different domains are best equipped to go after certain things. Shasta EDC, best equipped for living in Redding, California. And I've downloaded the spreadsheets for each one of these that kind of show why that is the case. And then, so Redding Crime, I found it interesting as I'm going through this research. I found that Facebook group that we actually attempted to be, or well, we did become a member of the Facebook group Redding Crime. Now, it's like I said before, it's a really interesting thing to consider that this Redding Crime Facebook page, really, it's a group of people trying to do good. They're trying to share information. Um, I've gotten some indication that they're like, they warn their neighbors about a porch pirate, or they let people know, hey, this car was stolen a couple nights ago. Keep a lookout for it. They're not trying to disparage Redding. They're not trying to make Redding look terrible. But interestingly, if you type in Redding crime, that's what you get is a list of crimes committed in Redding, and it doesn't look great, but it is what it is. It's just some folks trying to be helpful. Just really interesting um, to try and break that down. Like, okay, you know, is it possible to overcome a huge group of people talking about legitimate crimes and having discussions about that? No, I mean, they are what they are. They're doing what they're doing. They're not trying to hurt anything. They're just being themselves. What I would suggest is, why not make a page Reading hikes, Reading trails, Reading this, Reading that. There's a dozen things that Reading could be famous for other than crime. And that you could probably get as many Facebook users as the Reading Crime Facebook page has. Just some thoughts as we are trying to help Reading look better online. What can we do about that? It's not necessarily showing up better, faster, higher than some of these, but rather letting people know all the great things about Reading. I think that'll always win out in the end. Maybe that means I've got a very uh, rosy perspective about things. But so that is the content strategy that I think we need to be taking. Everyone I mentioned is in the class that we took online, the Zoom class we took. So consider those keywords for your websites as we move forward. And if you're looking for content to write, start there. Use the spreadsheets that I'm sharing right now to determine what kind of content should be going up on your website. And eventually we will win out. I mean, we must, because really what Google's going to do is they're going to show the most popular websites and web pages they can to these people. And, you know, people would probably much more rather um, look up some of the good things or the fun things they can do in Reading, not necessarily find out where the last porch pirate event occurred. So thank you guys for tuning in for the video. There's one more class that I'm going to be going over, so stay tuned for that.